Each week I do my best to give a perspective on something that is happening in the world. As things unfold in our world, often it's important for us to step back and get a different perspective. What we see, what we feel, even how we respond to things is not always the best in the moment. And we need a different perspective. And I do my best to give a perspective on what's happening. As you know, we're living through a time that has similarities to other things that have happened in the past, of course, but this is new territory for all of us. We're seeing things happen in our country. We're experiencing things personally and as families that we've just never experienced before. This is not a war in the traditional sense. This is not some of the other pandemics that have happened in the past. This is very different. It's impacting some on a health level, others on the relational levels, and many of us, most of us, at least to some extent, on the economic level. This is different than anything we've experienced before. And in the middle of it, it's hard to get the right perspective. I'll tell you this, as someone that loves history, and particularly American history, as someone that loves my country and has even served in my country's military, I'm very concerned about so much of what's happening. I look around and I consider not just the hardship that people are enduring and dealing with, but so many of the government regulations that have come about in a very, very short period of time. In the last just month and a half or so, we've seen the government go from kind of working on the sidelines, working in the background, to inserting itself into everything we do, even telling us when we can leave our homes and where we can go when we leave our homes. It's crazy. I look at everything that's happening and I wonder, how are we going to get from where we are right now back to some semblance of what we had before all this unfolded? I've heard the phrase, maybe you've heard it before, you can't get there from here. Have you ever heard that? You can't get there from here. When I think about all that's taking place right now, I think about it, in my mind, that's the phrase that echoes. We'll never get back to where we were. You just can't get there from here. Other generations, those who were previous to ours, perhaps would look at where we are today and wonder, what happened? That's not the country that we built. It's not the country that we defended or protected. It's not the country that we were hoping our grandkids and their kids would take on, would receive from us. But this is where it is. Things change, we know that. But I wonder, how are we going to get back to normal life? This is not intended to be political, and so I'm not going to go political. If you like what's happened, then I'm glad you like it. If you don't like it, then I support you as well. We all have opinions. But I believe that in the middle of this, there is an answer to returning to what we consider the American ideals. A great story was in the news this week. It's a fantastic story. The LA Dream Center is a place in Los Angeles, California, that does a lot of things. They serve various populations in Los Angeles, primarily different segments of the homeless population, along with programs that they have and counseling that they provide and a lot of other things that they do. They also feed folks. Because of the economic downturn, they've struggled a little bit to have the resources they need to feed the people in their community. And some great people came along to help them. One of those people was Kanye West. Now, I don't know what you think about Kanye West, how you feel about him. I'll tell you, he's done some great things in the recent past. He saw that there was a shortfall in donations, and he said, I want to do what I can to make up for that. He partnered with Chick-fil-A. They came together, went to the Dream Center and said, we're going to make up the shortfall. We're going to make up the difference. And we're told that in the last month or so, they've been able, with this kind of combined effort, to feed over 300,000 people. Now, I would imagine a lot of those are the same people, but they've handed out 300,000 meals to people in their community without the assistance of the government. Now, I want you to think about that for a second. Without the assistance of the government, some folks came together and said, bad has happened, we need to do something. Matthew Barnett, who's the co-founder of the Dream Center, he said this is what a neighborhood, community, and church always looks like. What a great statement. This is what a neighborhood, community, and church should always look like. And he's exactly right. You know how we get back to those things that we hold close as the kind of American ideals? Politicians will do what they do. Decisions will be made on our behalf, most of which we won't agree with. I can't speak to all of that. We can't control all of that. But you know what we can do? We can do what Americans have always done during difficult times, during difficult moments in histories. Whether it was because of a natural disaster or because of a war or because of an economic downturn, we look back in our history and what we see time and time and time again are neighborhoods, communities, and churches not asking for help from the government, but simply coming together, pooling their resources, and helping those in need. If we refuse to forget what it is to help others in need, then we're going to move through this time of crisis that we're moving through. Those who make policy decisions on our behalf will make those policy decisions. But on the other side, we'll be able to say, you can get there from here. Because we each take upon ourselves the personal responsibility to serve those who need to be served. And really, that's what America is all about. America was founded by people who said, I don't want the government telling us what to do, and I'm willing to care for myself, even if it means I have less than I would have otherwise. And throughout our history, again and again and again, Americans have stepped up and said, we're going to do what we can with what we have to help those who need it most. This is America. And you know what? Just as Matthew Barnett said so clearly, this is what neighborhoods and churches and communities should look like. And I'm thankful that in so many places they do.